Welcome Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 10 of Doctor Who. For those of you who haven't been around here for a while, first of all, welcome. Second, you need to know that I have a deep relationship with Doctor Who. I cannot look at this show objectively. It doesn't mean that I automatically love everything they do. It often means quite the opposite, that I'm way too harsh on it with my criticism. But Doctor Who is not just another show for me. I passionately love it. As this is a video about Season 10, I don't see a reason to avoid spoilers because I'm assuming that you're not watching a Season 10 video to try and see if you should watch it or not. But if you are, then yes, watch the whole thing from the beginning. So, spoilers ahead. Season 10 is the third and final season of Peter Capaldi's Doctor, and it also gave us a wonderful new companion with Bill Potts. They gave us Bill, and then they took her away. Too soon, if you ask me. We needed at least one more season of Bill, but we'll get to that. First, let's talk about the Doctor. Peter Capaldi is spectacular as the Doctor. In Season 8, it felt like they were still trying to figure him out, and it wasn't a great season. I loved Season 9. I loved pretty much everything about it, and you can find the link to the review I did about it in the description. And Season 10 was weird. I continue to love Capaldi's Doctor. I love every second of him. He's such an emotional Doctor, and I'm deeply moved by him, by his personality, by Capaldi's performance. I love everything about this Doctor. And Bill is fantastic. I can't really think of a companion that I really didn't like, but Bill was great, a genuinely good character, fun and interesting, and Pearl Mackie is so good. And finally, Nardole, a gift from the TV gods. I love that character so much, and if that was the last we've seen of him, I will not be happy. So why was this season not the best thing ever with so much going for it? There were some great episodes, lots of awesome Doctor moments, but this was an incredibly unbalanced season. The story with the monks, I think, is representative for the whole season. They set up this really interesting story. They took the time to build the story and this little world around it, and then they wrap it up like it was nothing. This massive challenge, this menacing villain, the whole thing with the simulation of the entirety of human history and the simulated Doctor sending a message to the real Doctor, all of that was fucking awesome. And then like one episode later, they're just like, oh no, we beat them. Wasn't even that hard. Stuff like that made this season feel all over the place, and I felt that as the last season of this Doctor, there needed to be more of a story, more of a consistent thing throughout the whole season. There were a few things that carried over from episode to episode, but this season didn't really have an overarching story, and I really wish it had. This season did have some great episodes by any standard, especially the opening of the season I felt was very strong, and anything that had Missy in it was pretty damn amazing. And I don't think there was any episode that I hated, but I also don't feel that this season had that one episode that just blows you away. The real problem was the relationship between Bill and the Doctor. Something that this show has always done well is build the relationship between the Doctor and the companion. And the companions were always different. They were always with the Doctor for different reasons. Some of them wanted to be with the Doctor because they loved him. Some of them wanted to be with the Doctor because they loved the life that they had when they were with the Doctor. And as time went by, they learned to love him, and relationships build and trust builds. With Bill, as amazing as she is, it seemed like the show assumed that we get that she's been traveling with the Doctor for a while, and in those travels she got to the place emotionally that she is willing to do absolutely anything for him. So by the end of the season, we're supposed to see the same type of connection between Bill and the Doctor that we saw with Clara, for example, but it just isn't there, which is a shame because Bill is the perfect example of the cost of traveling with the Doctor. And Capaldi is the perfect doctor to witness a companion pay that price. He's not as human as 10, but he's not as alien as 11. He's perfect for it. So it feels that we needed another season of Bill and 12 in order to get to the place where the finale of this season wants us to be. They relied on us too much here, on the things we already know. Bill, for example, is afraid of Missy. She says, "She scares me." Why? You've never seen the Master in action. We have, but you haven't. You don't know what she's capable of. A big part of Bill's character was that she was a way for new people to get to know Doctor Who without having to watch the whole thing. I still think you should watch the whole thing, but a big part of her character was the fact that she kept asking questions that haven't been asked for a while, like what's a Dalek, what's a Cyberman? She's new to this world, so she requires explanations, but at the same time, the show expects us to kind of project on her everything we already know as fans of the show. So I think there was some disconnect there that didn't really work. But in any case, I loved Bill and I really hope that we see more of her. Okay, the finale. Let's talk about it. The whole thing about the giant colony spaceship that's so big and so close to the black hole that there are time differences, I thought that was awesome. The whole thing about Bill being down there for 10 years because the doctor missed her by like 2 hours, and they were only there in the first place because the doctor wanted to do some test for Missy, so the whole thing could have been avoided. That was incredibly powerful. But man, throughout the entire thing, I have no doubt that Stephen Moffat is a very good writer. He's very good, he's very clever. He created some of my all-time favorite episodes of the show. I don't always like the general direction he dictates for the show, but he's good. And it's also obvious that he's a big fan of his own work. Rewarding us for sticking with the show by connecting things that you could only really understand if you've watched it, like how the library episodes connect to River's final episode, that type of thing is great. But there's a difference between that and just saying, look how clever I am. Throughout these 2 last episodes, I had the constant feeling of, this is great, but would you stop sucking your own dick for like 2 seconds and just tell the story? I apologize for that. I'm sorry. That is not what Binge Watchers is about. In any case, the highlight of the finale for me was just how good Capaldi was throughout the whole thing. He is so moving. The performance was incredible, and there's no doubt that this season saw the Doctor written in a way that fits Capaldi perfectly. It was beautiful. With all of my complaints, it was beautiful. The finale ends as the Doctor begins to regenerate, but he refuses. Like always, he doesn't want to go. He's actively fighting the regeneration. He tries not to regenerate, and the TARDIS takes him somewhere where he meets the first Doctor, setting us up for the Christmas special, which it seems will be about 2 grumpy old men go on an adventure, and I am very much looking forward to it. And the next Doctor is going to be a woman, right? They were totally setting that up throughout the whole episode, with the bit where the Master asks if the future is all girl, and the Doctor says, we can only hope, right? And Bill's tear regenerating into the Doctor's head, right? Right? By the way, I wasn't a fan of Bill is now a water alien, but hopefully it means that we haven't seen the last of her. In any case, season 10 was scattered, it lacked consistency, it didn't leverage Bill and the Doctor in the ways that I felt it needed to, but it was still fun, it was still emotional, it was still powerful, and it was still Doctor Who. And I'm not crying, you're crying. I am very interested to learn what you guys thought about the season. Please let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's get the discussion going. That's all I got for you this time. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TV Time. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. It's a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.